Hello, everybody. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese to high schoolers out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and I'm thinking my way through the Harvard Project Zero thinking routines. So, again, if you want to discuss this with me and help me come up with more ideas, reach me at studio-nemo.com or the Minecraft Education Ambassadors or the Minecraft Teachers Lounge or the Duolingo Educators Network. We are in the first of considering controversies, dilemmas, and perspectives. Well, these two are technically the first, but they've already occurred in earlier places, and I've got 80 to work through, so I'm not going to redo them. We're on facts or fiction, and again, this is located at this location, and the link will be in the description. This is Does It Fit? A routine for thinking creatively about options. So they give you this little write-up, fit your options to the ideal, to the criteria, to the situation, to you personally. So again, I teach lower levels. So although this thinking routine talks about fitting options to you personally, I do it in groups because the students kind of need the scaffolding. And one thing I really like to do with this is I take out my To Be Honest game, TBH, and I'll just randomly have the students pull out a question and I'll randomly translate it for them on the board and write down any scaffolding that I need to with the question, any word bank that we need or anything. And I've got the students in table groups, and then we work through those 4 steps. This is a really high cognitive demand, and it's really hard to keep them in the target language. So yes, I will let them code switch as much as they need to. And I just walk around and I keep reminding them, en français, en español, nihongo de, whatever I have to do to keep them in the target language. But, mostly as long as they're trying to use the grammar, I'm okay with it. And in the writing portion, that's where I'm really a stickler on, okay, you're writing, you've got time to think about it. I want it all in the target language here. If you're interested in how I use this game in the classroom, I also talk about it in the options explosion in the digging deeper into ideas category. Hopefully it'll spark some ideas for you. When you're teaching grammar explicitly, you've got a pop-up grammar lesson, you're doing the grammar translation method, you're doing audiolingual method, and you're looking at transformation drills, and the kids have questions about it. You're doing community language learning, and you're dissecting a scripture that your class wrote, or you're working straight out of your textbook. You need scaffolds. You need lots and lots of scaffolds and word banks and sentence frames and more sentence frames and even more sentence frames than you think you're going to need. Give them every single scaffold you can possibly think of. The students who don't need the scaffolds aren't going to glance at them, I guarantee you. The students who do need the scaffolds have them there as a crutch. And the middle of the road just like to have them there. They'll be more comfortable having them there, and then they'll choose whether or not to look at them. When you're teaching literature, culture, history, art, music, you're working through a recipe. So those routines seemed way too judgy to me to use on an actual historical event or a current event in the target culture. We did have one huge instance in the school of racism, and I don't ever want to give the impression of you're entitled to your opinion if something is just outright rude. So I do really shy away from using the target culture in these instances, and maybe a braver, more competent teacher will undoubtedly have more success than I do. But I do use this a lot on fictional stories that we're reading. My favorite time was we were reading in my clase de español. This is a book by Tom Alsop, 21 Mini Cuentos, and I love this book, and he also has it in French. And I went ahead and translated many of the stories into Japanese for my students because I really love this book. And it's just really good for just fun activities for reading. Okay, so this is the story is this guy's driving his car down the road, and suddenly his car starts speaking to him and telling him where to go. And one of my students always will suddenly start, they'll shout out, Ricardo es tonto. Ricardo's an idiot. Because he's listening to his car and he's not like questioning it or anything. Okay. So it was really easy to throw this thinking routine in on the fly. And, of course, flexibility is the name of the game when you're teaching. You want to jump on your moments, but this is really fun to do with stories. In our next episode, Here Now, There Then. Hope to see you then.